My name is Hilda Bennett and I live in Augusta, Georgia. And today I'm going to share a testimony with you. I will have to premise all this by saying that at this point in my life, when this happened to me, I was not a believer. I was not attending church. I was semi going to a Unitarian church every once in a while, but really I had fallen out of any kind of relationship with a religion because of things that had occurred. First, at a service I attended, and secondly, by someone who called themselves a Christian who pretty much told me I would never get to heaven. So, of course, I'm like, well, what's the use of then going to any kind of service or church or anything? I kind of thought, well, if that is the belief, then that's not something I want to be involved with. So measure your words. So when this happened was, I was probably in my late 30s, early 40s. I had been away from church and any kind of religion for 20 years or so. So I was working for the government, and I had a couple of coworkers that attended a church called the Vineyard. And I was always listening to the stuff they did and stuff they talked. And I thought, well, from my past experiences, they didn't seem to be the Christian type because they were a lot of fun. And they, were like normal people who lived normal lives, who, every once in a while we met and had a beer and, they got pissed off. They would say a cuss word, not a real bad one, but, And so I thought, wow, these people are like so normal. Something must be up with this church. But one of the things that intrigued me the most about it was the outreaches they did. Like, they would hand out water during the summer days. They would, have concerts, give out hot chocolate. And during the Christmas season, they would go to laundromats and give people quarters and pay for their laundry, things like that. So I thought a lot of the stuff they did was really intriguing to me. I really thought that's the kind of stuff that people should be doing, and that this church is purposely going out and doing it. I find that so cool. So I told that to one of the guys, and he said, well, next time we do something, I'll invite you. I was like, okay. So he came and told me about this event, and I said, sure, that sounds like fun. I'll do it. It's not threatening. I didn't have to go to the actual church. And what it was called, it was around Valentine's Day, and it was called Kiss 'Em with Kindness. And so the whole premise of this thing was that you would get a bunch of bags, I think 10 bags each, or however many you wanted to pick up. And inside was Hershey Kisses, and it was one of those bags that you hang in the doorknob, or you can knock. It was up to you how you wanted to do it. And so inside was the Hershey Kisses, and then a little card that said, God loves you. I thought, okay, non-threatening sounds good. So me and my two daughters, who were young teenage at the time, maybe like 12 and 14, maybe, or maybe, 1 year older, I don't know, right around that age. So maybe younger than that, actually. Yeah, younger than that. They were probably more like 10 and 12, actually. So we went to this apartment complex, and there's apartments on this side and then a building of apartments on that side. I think there was maybe 4 apartments, 2 up and 2 down on each side. And I said, well, I told my girls, I said, you guys go on this side and I'll go on this side. But I was like, so I could keep my eye on them. But there's 4 apartments facing us and then the 2 on the back. So when they went to the back of the building, I really wasn't going to be able to see them. So me and the girl that I was assigned with, we went and started dropping them off, and we knocked on a couple of doors and gave them the little chocolate, said, God loves you. And most people were pretty nice and receptive, those that opened the door. And so we were going around to the other side when all of a sudden I heard a scream. And of course, my heart just stopped in my chest, and I ran down the stairs and around the building, and I'm like trying to figure out where my kids were, if this had to do with them or not. I just had to make sure. So I went across the street and was looking around, and just as I was about to freak more, they came coming around the corner, and my youngest had this huge grin on her face, and my oldest was kind of like, because she always had this life sucks because I'm a teenager kind of attitude. So I'm like, what happened? And then so they were like, okay, Mom, this is crazy. And I said, what happened? So they said that the lady told them this. So she had gotten up that morning and she was in total complete despair. She had just kind of felt like giving up on life because she was about to be evicted and she had no food in the house, and she just didn't have a job. She was waiting to hear about a job or whatever. She just had no money, no food, and about to be without a home. So she had decided that she was going to end her life that day. So she woke up that morning, she's really hungry, and she just kind of told God, you know what? This is it. I am just not going to deal with life anymore, but I will give you an opportunity. And she's testing God, which you can do that, I guess, sometimes. God is so powerful that it's not like you're going to hurt his feelings, right? So she said, I'll give you a chance. Give me 3 signs that you exist and you know who I am. You have to know who I am, and I will not do this. I will figure out a way, but I really don't see how. Excuse me. So she found some money, like coins in the couch or whatever, and she had enough to go get a coffee. So she went to McDonald's and she ordered a coffee, counted the change. And I don't know if she looked hungry or whatever, but the girl behind the counter told her, you should scratch the side of the cup because, there's giveaways. You might win something to eat. And she's like, well, I'll never win at anything. So the girl's like, I'll scratch it for you. And the girl scratched it and it was a free meal. So she got the coffee, a sandwich or whatever, and, hash browns. And then she got another beverage. So she was like, sat down and, the girl told her it was her lucky day. It's your lucky day. And she sat down and she kind of thought about it. She goes, okay, maybe this is one, I don't know. This could be the first sign. So she ate her meal. Of course, she felt better because she wasn't hungry. Got home and she had a message on her answering machine. So this was about, 20 years ago. Because my daughters are in their 30s now. So late 30s. So, they could have been older then. I'm not good at math in my head. Anyway, that's not part of the story. So she gets home and her answering machine is blinking, and she pushed the button and it was her brother. And his message was that he felt horrible because he knew he'd owed her money for a long time, and that he had wired her some money. And he said, and I added a little extra because, I should have paid you a long time ago. So he told her the amount, and it was way more than she would have expected. So it was enough to cover her rent for a couple months and eat and all that stuff. So she was like, holy crap. She's standing there and she's like, is this sign number 2? And at that moment, the bell, I have a hard time sharing this part, but at that moment, the doorbell rang and there's these 2 kids standing there with chocolates, and they say, God loves you. And she started blubbering and she said, oh my God, okay, that's sign number 3. And she just started crying, and she's telling the girls this story about, I went to McDonald's, this girl told me to scratch the cup, and it said, I got a free meal, and I just was at the end of my rope. I just knew that this is going to be my last day on earth. And then I get this message from my brother. I just checked it right now. I was listening to it when you rang the doorbell, and that was sign number 3. And then she just screamed, oh my God, really loud. And that's what I heard. That's what I heard, the scream of her saying, oh my God. And I thought somebody was getting hit by a car, or my kids are getting, attacked or something. But and my girls are stumbling over each other, telling me the story, and they're so excited. And all I could think right then was that, isn't it amazing how God uses anybody? That day, he touched her, my kids, me, and the lady I was with. And he touched, I guess she, obviously she believed in God. My kids were not attending church regularly or religious, but then at that point they learned what God can do. And then I was touched by the fact that maybe I need to give this church a chance. So since that day, I have a new best friend. Can't imagine my life without my new best friend. I still call him my new best friend, but he's been my best friend since, for years now. And this always meets me where I am, not judgmental at all. He understands me, he talks to me, he listens. And no matter what I do or don't do, like sometimes I might not be there when I should be or whatever. And every time he's like, you're you and I love you regardless. And that's Jesus. I got to know Jesus and he became and has been my best friend since. And so I tell you guys this story and I'm in hopes that it gives you a little bit of a boost in your day. And you guys understand that God will use you wherever you are. It doesn't matter. You can be a devout Christian or you can be a teenager who doesn't want to be where they're at. Either way, it serves its purpose. Thank you so much. Thank you, David, for having me. And I wish you a blessed day and a blessed week. Bye.